So, as you can see, today we're talking about Galaxy, and in particular, harnessing Galaxy for oceanographic insights. And this is our third Ferris webinar, so we're very happy to have you here today. Just let me show you the agenda very quickly, and I'd like to remind you that the webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel as we did for the other webinars. Actually, I would like to ask my colleague Zach as well to check if everything is all right with the recording, and also to keep a look at the question and answers chat and the chat in case there is any questions, so that I don't look at the screen. And so my colleague will be there to help you with any issue. So we will do a very short introduction, and then I pass you the floor, Marie, so that you can present. Marie will present us a demo today, and she will show you how to manage ODV Galaxy interactive tool, how to visualize, subset, and save your data, how to manage DIVAnd an interactive tool, and how to use it in a JupyterLab environment with a notebook. We will have a short Q&A session at the end. But nevertheless, if you want to ask some questions before the end of the webinar, again, there is a Q&A chat, so the speakers can answer directly your questions if you have like a doubt that is preventing you from following the rest of the webinar, for example. So feel free to use that, please, by all means. And there will be this Q&A question at the end, so you will be able to raise your hand and then pass you the microphone in case you want to be invited on stage. If you register to our newsletter, we'll be glad to send you the recording later. We will upload it on the YouTube channel in any case, and we will inform you once ready with the newsletter and the posts on social media. So I suggest you to stay tuned and follow us. And we'll also organize new events very soon, new webinars. So thank you for joining. We are very glad again to have you here. And for those of you who don't know, Ferris is a consortium of 25 partners and 3 affiliated entities. And we have people from 9 EU member states and associated countries. So it's a consortium full of different cultural environments. Ferris deals with earth sciences and environment sciences. We started in September 2022, and the project lasts for 3 years. So what Ferris is doing, it's developing these 2 main tools: the interdisciplinary data discovery and access service, and the Earth Analytical Lab and Data Lake, which you can see in a nice sketch that was drafted by one of our consortium members, Gael. And so what we do today is an overview of the platform, and we go deeper into the workflow of harnessing oceanographic data. And Galaxy is part of the Earth Analytical Lab. So, first of all, if you want to know more about these tools, you can also check out our previous webinar recordings. They're on YouTube. And now I'll pass the floor to Marie. Thank you all, and enjoy the webinar.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. As Christina told you, I will present you the platform Galaxy, and I will directly start sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, this is not the right screen. Perfect. So yes, you can see what can you see right now?
Yes,
yeah. Okay. So for this webinar, I will directly go into the Galaxy platform and do a demo on how you can use the tools on Galaxy. So to start, I will quickly introduce how it presents itself. So this is the earthsystem.usegalaxy.eu platform. So this is the Galaxy platform that was implemented by the FERIS project. So when you go on this link here, you will directly arrive here. This is the home page. This is completely open source and everyone has access to it. So if you want to go check it out right now, you can. It presents itself with 3 main panels. The one on the left here is all the tools that are available. So this is a subdomain of the main Galaxy. And for this subdomain, we have a selected list of tools that are only related to Earth system tools. So you have tools for water and coastal dynamics. So this is the tools that I will show you later, or the tools for volcano studies or for biodiversity observation. On the right panel here, you have your history. So this is where all the steps of your analysis will be. If you upload data, you will find them here. If you do a process on them, you will find the output of the process here. If you do a visualization, you will be able to see the tools that you use and the output here. And finally, and maybe the most important, the main panel. This is where you'll be able to fill in the information of the tool that you want to use. So the input parameters, and then run it. And in this main panel, you'll be able also to see the output of the tool. So don't worry, I will show you more in details everything. This is just a quick overview. On the above panel, on top panel, you have multiple buttons. So for this, I think we have only 3 buttons that will interest us. You have the workflow button where you will be able to see all the different chain of tools that create a complete analysis of data. So for instance, here an analysis that we will do is what we call workflow. You have the user button. So this button will show if you are logged in. So you'll need to create an account on Galaxy. It's really simple. It's just an email and a password. And finally, you have the hat button, where you'll be able to see all the trainings of Galaxy. So I will show. So this is the Galaxy Training Network. So it's a platform where you have a catalog of trainings. So it can go from the basics of how you can use Galaxy to more complex analysis. Oh, okay. To more complex analysis and how to use all the different features that are available on Galaxy. But also there are some trainings, for instance, on fair data management, so outside of Galaxy. So this is really really complete platform. So for our needs today, I will show you how you can access the Earth system trainings. So I can directly tap here on the top panel, on the search panel, system. Listen, up. And if you search that, you can see that here you have all the related tutorial to Earth system. So it has the tag here, Earth system. So you have the type, it's a hands-on, which means that you will be able to read the tutorial and do it at the same time on the Galaxy platform. And it has its title and then the length of how much time it should take to do the tutorial, approximately, and the topic that it's in. So here we have some in climate, but also some in ecology. Okay, so this is the main information about the overview of Galaxy Earth system. I will switch to my local Galaxy to do the workflow. So the workflow is available directly here on Galaxy Earth system, but the last updated version are on my local one. So will just go here. So this is less nicer because it's really just my local galaxy, but it has all the features that we need. So if you go into workflow button on the top here, you'll see the available workflow that I created. So this is the one of my instance, but you can directly import other workflows if you need. So for instance, this one, you will be able to import it with the right URL with the button here. So I will show you quickly how a workflow looks like. So if you click here, you can see the different buttons that are available on the workflow. So you can edit it, but you can also share it. So either by sending a link or to anyone, or you can make it public so that anyone can have access to it. So if I go to edit, I didn't choose the right workflow, sorry. Okay, so this is the one we want, oceans variable. So if I click on edit here, you can see the different steps of our study that we will do. So here are the input data. Here is the first tool that we will use, which is Ocean Data View. And here it's an interactive JupyterLab with DIVAnd, where you will be able to use a notebook. And finally, if we have time, we will use again Ocean Data View, but in another way on our data. So don't hesitate to stop me or to ask questions during what I present if you need some more information. So this workflow part, you can also see here all the different information on your workflow. So for instance, the name, but also some description, the license it's on, and some nice features. If you go here on the workflow options, you have here the best practices. So this is really helpful if you want to have the best possible workflow to be published and to have all the best practices. So for instance, I know that here you will not have all the best practices filled in because I didn't do everything right. So here you can see that I need to improve my workflow because it still needs some labels on the inputs and some labels on the outputs. But other than that, everything seems pretty much okay. So here, this is a different kind of options that you have. You also have a possibility to annotate your workflow, so you can write some comments above all around it. But if we have time, I can show you that later. So here, the idea, if I go back into the workflow part, is to run the idea is to run the workflow. So here you can run the workflow directly in clicking this button. So this part will start running all the different steps of your workflow. However, here, this is interactive tools that we are using, which means that for each steps, I will have to manually go into the tool and do what needs to be done into the tool, and then cut it off, and it will automatically launch the next tool. So I will show you. So maybe first I will name my history. So if you want to have a clean history, you can click on the pen here and add the title. So here, option variables, and save. And so I can click on run workflow. So first, you'll need to have your data. So to do that, I invite you to go back into the training that I showed you earlier. So I go back into our system. I write our system while will be better. Okay. And I go into Ocean's variable study, which is the tutorial that we'll be following today.
Sorry to interrupt, Marie. It's just, I see a raised hand, and just in case there is a technical issue, maybe I will invite Alexander to use the Q&A panel to let us know, okay? Or so that we don't interrupt the session, and then we can ask all the questions later also with the microphone. Thanks.
Okay, I can continue?
Yes, yes, you do.
Okay. So on the training here, you have the different steps that you'll be following for this workflow. So first, a bit of an introduction about what we're going to do. And then you have the agenda. And this is the explanation on how you can use Ocean Data View tool. So Ocean Data View is the first tool that we will be using in our workflow. But first, you'll need to download the right data. So for the training part, you can see that you have different kind of boxes. So if you have really new to Galaxy, there are some details, for instance, on how Galaxy works. It's a short introduction here. You can close it if you don't need it. And then you have here how Ocean Data View works. So this is really a step-by-step tutorial. And so you can follow it and read it, but I will directly do the step myself because I don't need to read it because I remember pretty much everything. So this is the data that we will be using for our workflow. So a bit of information on the data. So here are some complementary information. You can click on it. And you'll see that the data that we'll be using here are aggregated dataset from the Mediterranean Sea on eutrophication and acidity. And it's from EdmondNet Chemistry that aims to provide access to marine chemistry dataset and derived products concerning eutrophication, acidity, and contaminants. So you'll be able to have more information on this box, but you can also go search for other data yourself in the different links that are available here. And so here we'll be studying the Mediterranean Sea eutrophication and acidity aggregated dataset. So here I put the link here of our example dataset, so I can copy it. And then here you see that for your workflow, you need to upload your data. So to do so, you can click on upload here. So upload data. Then you go on paste and fetch data. You can paste the link that I just copied before, and I will take this as the name of your data up here. And then you can start and close. And you can see that in our history now, we have a new step, which are the data that we just uploaded. So I think it takes a bit of time to load. So if you have any question, maybe it's the time, or if we want to continue, I can directly switch to another history where everything is already ready, because history, in Galaxy, you can have multiple histories. And so here I can directly switch to another one in terms of efficiency for this webinar. So I will go on another history. Here, you can see I have multiple ones. And I think this is the one that I want. Yes. So as you can see here, I already have my data uploaded. So they are green, which means that they are ready to be used. And now you can see that in the beginning of the workflow, you already have your data already filled in here. And so you can just click on the button, run workflow. Okay, so this is the first steps that are launching. So here you have Ocean Data View. So I will just put you back into the Galaxy training so that you can see which part we are on. So here we are in the deploy your own Ocean Data View instance. So we did this part where we uploaded the data. And now we need to go into the tool Ocean Data View to visualize our data and do a subset of them. So let's do that. So here the tool is running. So you know that it's running because it's yellow. It will stay yellow because you need to go into the interactive tool and correctly then shut it down for it to turn green. But for now, we need to stay it yellow. So to go into your interactive tool, you go onto user here, and then go here into active interactive tools. And you can see that you have ODV that is running. You can click here, and it's opening Ocean Data View. So from this point on, it's Ocean Data View as you would use it on your computer directly. So from now, I'm using Ocean Data View as if I was not on Galaxy anymore. So I will go in File, Open, and then in ODV. Here I implemented a little folder named Galaxy. And here into the data, you can access the data that I just uploaded on Galaxy that came with us into ODV. So I open it. And you can see that our Mediterranean Sea is opening here. Okay. So from there, I will do a subset of our data. So for that, I click right, go into zoom, up, and just diminish it. So everything on this part is also explained on the Galaxy training tutorial, and all the steps are documented. So here you have a subset, and from there I want to, let's say, save my plot. So I can do right click, save plot as. So this is one of the important parts that might be different than from an usual ODV. It's that I need to go into ODV Galaxy and then the outputs folder. So for these parts, and why it needs to be done like that, it's because everything that you put into this output folder will be then available into your Galaxy history. But if you put it into another folder, you won't be able to see it into Galaxy. So you really need to put all your wanted outputs into the folder ODV Galaxy outputs. And let's say I want to PNG and save. Okay. And I also want to have this as a netcdf, so I can click on export data and netcdf file. Okay. And same, then just before you go into ODV, Galaxy outputs, check that the file types is okay, and you can just save. So I keep all the variables selected here. And for this part, I will just select the variables, the ocean variables that will interest us. So the depths, the dissolved oxygen concentration, and the phosphate. Okay. I will change the longitude range so that we can have minus 180 degrees to 880 degrees. And I also want to have the export metadata quality flags. And then I can click on OK. And then you can see here in the bottom that your data are being saved. So once it's saved, you will be able to shut down ODV and go back into Galaxy. So we'll just go back into the training to show where we're at now. So go back into training. So we did everything into the ODV part. We did our subset like it's shown here. And now we are saving our data like it's explained in this part here. And for the last part, we will need to correctly shut down ODV so that we can retrieve all the interesting output into Galaxy. So we will be arriving on this part where we will have these outputs in our history. So let's check. So 99%. And okay. So everything is saved. We can go into File and click on Exit. This is the right way to shut down ODV. Okay, so now ODV is disconnected. I can close this and go back on Galaxy. And here, you see your history. So in a couple minutes, this will turn green and the next steps of our workflows will start. So when this turns green, you will have also 3 other boxes here that will show up. So these are the next step, which is the next tool. So each steps here doesn't mean that you'll have 3 new tools launching. It means that there is 3 kind of outputs that can come from this tool. It's the same for ODV. There is 2 types of outputs that can come only from this tool. So for instance, if you go into ODV all outputs, you can see that you have the PNG that we saved here. So I click on the eye and it shows in the middle panel. And if you go into ODV netcdf outputs, you see that you have your netcdf output that you wanted and exported from the Ocean Data View tool here. So now DIVAnd just launched. And so for this workflow, DIVAnd launched using this output of ODV as an input. So in DIVAnd, you will be able to access the data that we created from ODV. So in the tutorial, you can see that now we are at this point, launch DIVAnd. So I will directly show you how to go there. So you go into user, active interactive tools, and then you can click into a DIVAnd interactive tool. And here you have a JupyterLab, which is launching. So in this JupyterLab, you have the right environment for DIVAnd to be working. You will be able to have here in the data that we brought from ODV. And here in notebooks, you'll be able to have a set of exemplary notebooks that you could use to do an analysis using DIVAnd. So here for this example and for this workflow, we are using a notebook from that was already available in DIVAnd, but that we adapted for our needs. So I will download it. To do that, I can open Terminal here, and I can go back on the training here and see that here you have the line wrote to rightfully download your tutorial. So you can copy it, copy, and then go back here. And from there, you can just paste the line and enter. So here you can see that here you have downloaded the right notebook that we need for our analysis. So this part will create a climatology. I need the Julia camera. So this part will create a climatology. First, we'll be reading the ODV data, then extract bathymetry and create a mask. Then we'll do some quality controls and some spatial temporal interpolation. I don't know if you want to add some words, Charles, or if it's okay with you, what I'm saying. So Charles Troupin is the author of DIVAnd, and he's here with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Marie. I'm not really the author. The author is Alexander Brath, my colleague, and mostly a developer of DIVAnd, but I don't think I have to say much more about this because yeah, I think it's what you are presenting. What we do with DIVA, we take data from ODV in this workflow and use them to create a climatology. So it means a set of gridded fields at different time periods, at different depths, from the variables of interest. So the difficulty of the nice work here that Marie has done is to allow us to use DIVA directly right after ODV. So yeah, I think you can ask the question in the chat if necessary.
Okay, thank you. So from this step, normally this notebook can be run without thinking. You can just run the different cells. and just retrieve what we get at the end of this notebook. So I don't know how much you're familiar with the notebook. So here you can just go on run and run everything. So here, I just launch all my notebook. So it's launching cells by cells, and it's directly getting the data that are in our data folder that you can see here. And everything is running. You have multiple different steps here, and we will be arriving in the last steps where we will retrieve the gridded fields created by DIVAnd, which will be an netcdf file. So from this part, you will be able to find the netcdf file that you want to retrieve into Galaxy, into the outputs folder. So the data outputs folder that I've shown you into ODV and that are also here in DIVAnd are kind of a convention. Normally, when you use an interactive tool in Galaxy, all the data that you brought from Galaxy into the interactive tools will be available into a data folder. And everything that you want to retrieve from your interactive tool will need to go into the outputs folder to be available into the Galaxy history. So here, everything that will be done into this notebook will directly go into the outputs folder because I wrote it like that. And so if it's not going into the outputs folder, you need to copy paste your outputs into this folder so that we can have it into the Galaxy history. So here, one bit of the problem, it's a big operation that we're doing here, so it can take a bit of time. I think it takes something around 10 minutes. So I will not wait 10 minutes for it to be complete. So I will just explain you what it's supposed to do, and I will directly send you to the next step. So here, once it's done, you have your outputs here. So part of it is already there. And once it's there, you can directly, no, dismiss, that's not what I want to do. You can directly turn off the JupyterLab because all the work that we needed for it to be done is already done. And once you turned off, you can directly go back onto Galaxy and see the different steps, the different outputs that you had from these notebooks into Galaxy. So I think I will just shut it down like that, and I will explain you the next steps. So try to follow me on that because I will, it's we will waste time if I wait home. Okay. Am I back?
Yes, you're back, Marie. So we lost the last minute and a half. I was wondering if it was my connection or yours.
No, I think it's mine because I'm asking a lot from my computer right now.
Okay.
Okay.
You can just recap.
So I was saying that, okay. Am I back? Yeah.
Yes, you're back.
Can you hear me? Yes. So what I did right now is that I shut down the Jupyter notebook. So I don't know if you saw my my steps, but I can quickly explain. So here my Jupyter notebook is finishing. Normally I will have my outputs into the outputs folder. And what I need to do is go on to File and then just click Shut Down. We will be showing here. So that's what I did. I click on File and click on Shut Down. So I will be leaving this page and directly going back into Galaxy. So I kind of shut down my Jupyter notebook a bit hardly because it didn't finish its work. So it will be red in my history, as you can see here. So this is actually a nice example. As you can see, it's red. So the next steps here are in blue, which means that they cannot launch because they are using the outputs from DIVAnd to start. But as DIVAnd is not properly finished because the NetCDF did not have time to finish, the next step will not launch. It says that it's supposed to be launched, but it cannot launch. So don't worry, I have everything planned. I can switch to another history where everything should be there. Here. So if you had waited for the notebooks to properly finish its work, you would have this kind of output. So with the NetCDF here that we created from DIVAnd, and from there, I can launch the last tool. So I will show you really how you can launch manually a tool. So normally, if I did with the right workflow, you'll have the next step launching automatically. But just here, I will show you manually how you can do it so that you can see how a tool really looks like. So here you can see I search ODV here in the tools panel. And here you have the formula of the tool. So I can choose that I want to use a NetCDF as an input, and I want a dataset collection here, which means that Galaxy will be searching for NetCDF that are in a dataset collection. So DIVAnd NetCDF outputs, and it will directly put it as an input of ODV. And from there, I can just run the tool. And you can see that ODV is launching. And I can go into user, active interactive tool, and ODV is there. Up. So this is the last part of our tutorial. And this is just the last visualization. So I can open, go into ODV, Galaxy, data, and open the NetCDF file. I just click on next and finish. Okay, so this is our gridded product. From there, I want to visualize the phosphate, so I can do one surface window here. So I clicked on the plus and go on to one surface window. The same, this is all explained in the Galaxy training, so I can show you back where we're at. So now we have finished running ODV, DIVAnd. We retrieved our NetCDF file, and we are in the bonus part where we are visualizing our last product, NetCDF product, into ODV and creating some surface plot here, as you can see it. So in the tutorial, I did some tips and comment on how you can manage your data there and have a nice visualization on the color mapping, for instance. So I can do it quickly, properties, color mapping, and I can just play with this and okay, and here. And from there, I can save my plot into ODV, Galaxy, as always, outputs, and PNG, save, okay, and we are done. I'm finished with my workflow, so I can exit ODV. Yes, I want to exit it, and go back into Galaxy. And here you see that ODV was yellow and will soon turn green because we have finished with it. And we'll be able to see our last visualization, our last PNG up here. Yep, and you can click on the eye, and here we have our last output. And that's it. You did everything on the workflow that I presented you in the beginning. So we did all the different steps here. We uploaded the data, did the subset with Ocean Data View, then created a climatology with DIVAnd, and finally we visualized the NetCDF and the phosphate variable. Up. Okay, so I don't know if there is any questions. I can't see if there are right now. or if you want me to show you a bit of something else. Pretty much I forgot to show you a lot of functionalities of Galaxy, but just ask away.
First of all, thank you, Marie. This was so interesting. Like, it's really great for all the things that you can do on this platform. Yeah, I see. So no questions so far. I see some thank you in the chat and some claps reactions. So thanks, guys. We're glad that you liked it, and please feel free to ask. And as Marie was saying, if you want some other features to be shown, Marie is here for that today. So we'll wait a couple of minutes for this.
And if needed, I can show some other stuff that I have in mind if there is no question.
Okay.
So, for instance,
can you show how we can export the instance in raw crate?
Okay, that's a good question. You can go here in workflow, and then I think I actually never done it. So I think here you can go in export. And I think this is where you can do it. Download workflow. I think this is where it's available. So this is downloaded the workflow from Galaxy. I actually never downloaded from Great, but I think we can you can just search for it into the GTN, so the Galaxy Training Network work rate. And yeah, you can see here that you have a lot of different tutorial on how to use Workrate and Galaxy. So I think that pretty much everything can be explained here. So I invite you to directly go there. I don't know if I can put any link in the chat. I don't see the chat. Okay, here. So I invite you to go there and check it out if you can, how you can do it. Is there any more questions? For the, yes.
Just a lot of thank you message for you, Marie, and a comment that this is very interesting for works to do in Blue Cloud 2026. In fact, there was also like we did previous collaborations with Blue Cloud also in the Open Science Fair. So yeah, it's good to keep the collaboration going. And Marie, feel free. I mean, we have 15 minutes, so if you want us to show something, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, speaking of collaboration, this works was actually done with the Project Euroscience Gateway and the Galaxy Europe platform. So big thanks to them for their help. I don't know if any of them are there, but big thanks. What I can show you is, for instance, if you want to create your own workflow, let's say you have your own routine that you want to use on Galaxy, you can, if the tools are available, you can directly do all the steps that you need in one by one. And from once you finished all your steps, you can directly extract your history as a workflow. So you can go here. And here you have the possibility to extract the history, and it will automatically create a workflow from your history. This is actually what I've done for this. I tested all my steps one by one, and once I was happy with all the steps that I did, I just extracted my workflow from there. What I can show you also, if I go back here. So this is Galaxy Earth System. For this webinar, I show you how you can use interactive tools, but there are all other sorts of tools that are not using any interactive any interactive features. It's actually tools that you can directly input your parameters, run it, and then retrieve directly the outputs without having any informatic knowledge or any software knowledge of any kind. So for instance, you can go into Argo. You can search for Argo. So this is one of the tools that I implemented lately. So this tool allows you to retrieve Argo data. So you can say that you are a standard user, say that you want to retrieve a particular place and in a particular time. So you input all your different parameters here, and then you just have to run the tool and you directly be able to access the data like that, without having to go into JupyterLab or without having to go into a desktop app. You can also do with that full automatic workflows, which means that you have all your different steps. So for instance, if I go into my workflows here, you can see this one. So this is a 3 steps workflow. If I launch it, I won't have to do anything. So once it's launched, all the steps will be run, and I will just have to retrieve the output of this one at the end, but I won't have to do anything in it. It's fully automatic because it's non-interactive tools that are in this workflow. A nice feature of the workflow that I told you a bit about earlier, so for instance this one, is that you can annotate your workflow now. So here you can see I created different boxes with some explanation, for instance, of what is Argo, or some information on what tools I'm using. And I can also draw some stuff if I want, and add some titles and some complementary details on what is doing the analysis. So this is a nice way to create a workflow and teach at the same time. And maybe one last thing that I can show you about the tools. If you go back on Argo, for instance, let's keep this one. If you go here on the top, you can have access to the tool shed. So the tool shed is actually a kind of app store where you have all the different tools that are available on Galaxy. So not just Galaxy Earth System, but all the tools available on Galaxy in general. So there is something like more than 9,000 tools available. So all the tools are not into Earth System, but they are into Galaxy. So this is the Galaxy tool shed. My connection is a bit slow, I think. And if you go here into Galaxy Toolshed, you will be able to see all the different kind of tools that you have. So for instance, you have into the ecology part, you can see multiple tools that are available there and that you would like, for instance, to use. And so you know that they are somewhere and you can use them. Okay, that's pretty much the overview of Galaxy. I don't know if I forgot anything.
We do have a question in the chat. I think maybe it has been answered also in the chat, but it's in Galaxy, can we load our own notebooks to run DIVAnd?
Yeah, it's actually what I've did. I just open a terminal and use wget, and just put the raw data, the raw URL of notebook. But you can also, if I go to Diva, so this is the tool DIVAnd as it's shown when you want to use it individually. You can directly load previous notebook. And from there, you can directly select a notebook that you uploaded in your history and run the tool. If you want to upload data, remember you can use upload data here, and you can choose a local file. So if it's a notebook that is local on your computer, you can just choose a local file and you can directly select it in your computer. And from there, select it here in your tool and run the tool. Okay.
Thanks so much. I don't see any other questions so far in the chat, but again, I would like to really thank you all. Marie, I don't want to cut you, like if you were going to say anything else, if I interrupted.
I can continue a lot of time. I think there is so many things to show in Galaxy that I still have some other things that I can show. But
you do have 8 minutes, so you could if you want to. And there are two more questions now. So Alexander is asking, can IPython notebook be renamed as Jupyter Notebook in the web UI? And Margot is asking, I saw that you can add creators to a workflow, right panel in the workflow window to share it. Can you also share outputs data? Can you create a team or project workspace to share resources? So 2 questions. If you want to recap them, I can read them again, or I think you can see them.
They are in the chat. Yeah, I can see it in the chat. Can IPython notebook be renamed as Jupyter Notebook in the web UI? I'm not sure I understand the question. There are actually, maybe this is the question, there are actually multiple kinds of JupyterLab notebook tools. The one that I show you, DIVAnd, is just an example, but you can also go here and see that I have, for instance, Copernicus Data Space Ecosystems, which is a JupyterLab for using OpenAO or Copernicus tools. You can also have all of these, which is also JupyterLab with the set of notebooks for all of these and the right environment. And you have multiple kind of Jupyter to help people to use them as easily as possible. I don't know if I answered right or if it's the question. I'm not sure if it's the question. I don't know if you can maybe raise your hand. I see that Yvonne answered.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, indeed. This is something that you can change directly in how you write your tool. So when you write your tool for an interactive one, for instance, you have the Docker image where is the JupyterLab, and you have to link your Docker image to an XML file. And in the XML file, pretty much everything is really flexible and you can write the label that you want. Okay. And for the second question, yeah, you can add the creators to a workflow. So if I go here, and I can do this one. You can go here and just add a person or an organization, and you can, to share, you can also share outputs data. Yeah, so you can share the workflow as it is, but if you have your workflow and that you run it and have, for instance, your history here, and that you have all your data and your outputs in your history, you can directly go history option here and click on share or publish. So this will allow you to directly publish your history. So you can directly copy the link, send it to the person that you want, and they'll be able to have your output, your data, and all your work. The only problem is that the person that you'll be able to send it, if they do any modification into your history, you won't be able to see it, because once the person retrieves the history, it becomes its own history. So it's shareable, but you can't really work together on it. So you have to share it again and share it again. Can you create a team or project work? So yeah, I kind of answered that. I think there are some possibilities around that, but we need to work more on that in the Galaxy platform to improve this part. Yeah, as Yvonne said, any tool that is added on Galaxy goes through a GitHub review from the community. And so if you want to make a change or add your own tool, you can ask or do the pull request and or write down an issue, and we can try to change it and update it according to what are your needs. Okay. Did I miss any question?
No, I don't think so. Thank you so much, Marie. That was really, really interesting, and thank you also to all of you participating and interacting with questions, and that also shows how interesting the topic is. I think we can close here. I don't want people to be late. It's I think it was good timing for questions and presentation. So again, I invite you to follow us if you want to keep on track with what we are doing, new events and publications, and the video recording. Gael has kindly shared the links of X and LinkedIn. I'm going to paste them again in the chat here. And thank you, Marie, for the nice tutorial. And I'll talk to you soon in the next webinar, and I wish you all a lovely weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.